it's widely predicted that they're going to be fairly catastrophic for the Prime Minister. So you could have a sequence of domino effects here, couldn't you? You could have a defection. You then get terrible local election results, maybe Labour having a clean sweep of all the mayoral elections on Thursday. And then you get Conservative MPs doing what they do best, and that is panic. And that could, I say could because I'm not predicting it, but it could result in the defenestration of another Prime Minister. We could have a new Prime Minister by the end of May. I know it sounds preposterous here, but we are, is it the 28th of April today? By the 28th of May, Rishi Sunak could be gone. Now, who would replace him? Well, we can speculate on that another time. We don't need to do that today. But I think there's a 20% chance of that happening. So it's something that I think we ought to consider. So politically, it could be seen as a bit of a straw in the wind, this defection. But also from the NHS point of view, when you have a Conservative supporting doctor who's worked in the NHS for at least the last 20 years, when you have him saying the kind of things that I've just read out to you, that is pretty damning, isn't it? If a Conservative MP can't actually defend his own party's record on the NHS, how can any other Conservative MP? If you work in the NHS, do these words ring true with you? Do you think, well, good on him, he's actually blown the whistle? And I'm not sure this is particularly news to anyone. We've talked about these subjects on my evening show a lot over the last several years. 0345 6060 973 is the number to call. Let's get some historical context on this from Sir Anthony Selden, political commentator and author of the best-selling book Johnson at 10. He's got Truss at 10 coming out soon. I suspect a slightly shorter version. But how should we place this in a historical context? Have there been defections in the past that people have thought, well, that is really a turning point?
So I think that we should remember that Winston Churchill changed party twice. So there is a long history going back well over 100 years, Iain, as you know, of MPs changing side, often with a sense of their own political advantage. I mean, they're either going to make a point, as may well be the case with Dan Poulter, because he's standing down, so he's not looking to be taken on by the other side, or they're people who are just are doing it for this political advantage for them, or they're making a point. Poulter is making a point, a very strong point about the state of the NHS. The reason why most MPs who defect get lost in the tide of history is because they're welcomed by the other side when it happens, but there seem to be people just bounty hunters looking for jobs in the other side because their own side is obviously going to be losing. That doesn't seem to be the case here. You're very right, Iain, to draw the analogy, obviously, with the John Major government from 1990 to 97, when there were a number of defections, as you say, and that was really wounding for the Conservative John Major government. And what Rishi Sunak will be looking at is, are there going to be others? Will Dan Poulter's resignation, changing sides, embolden others? And if they are, he'll be in real trouble. So I think he'll be able to weather this one. But if there are 3 or 4 more, that might be all it needs, then he will be in significant trouble.
Do you agree with me that this on its own is not going to cause any more long-term damage than already has been caused to the Tories, I suppose? That they're at a point in the polls where you can't really conceive that they can go much lower. But there is this thought that if the local elections go really badly for Rishi Sunak on Thursday, if they lose the West Midlands mayoralty, if they lose the Tees Valley mayoralty, and lose half the seats that they're defending, that might be enough to trigger a move by Tory MPs. Now, many of our listeners will think, well, that would be mad. You can't have another Prime Minister, as Brenda in Bristol might say, not another one. But it is possible. If Tory MPs come to the conclusion that someone like Kemi Badenoch or Penny Mordaunt or whoever can lose fewer seats than Rishi Sunak would, well, it would be sensible to make a change, wouldn't it?
So I was really interested by your figure of 20% likelihood that would happen. And you can imagine the scenario if the locals go badly. I mean, personally, I think that Rishi Sunak a chance when he took over after Liz Truss, people are tending to blame the incumbent rather than the almost impossible position that he's in. And history here, Iain, draws two different parallels for the Tories. So in 1963, they had a new leader, Alec Douglas Hume, who took over from Harold Macmillan, and he lost the election, and Labour won. But in 1955, Anthony Eden took over from Churchill only a month before the general election, and he went on to win a great victory. So history suggests either way, you can argue the case either way, that a fresh leader is going to help you, or a fresh leader won't be enough because all the reasons why people are fed up with the party are too strong that even a fresh face won't help. And the point that you mentioned, Iain, to have 6 Tory prime ministers in a little over 10 years is without precedent in the whole of history.
What do you think Labour strategists are thinking? Because I've lost count of the number of Labour politicians who tell me privately that Penny Mordaunt is the one that they fear. They think she's the only one that can prevent them winning a big majority. And often, if Conservative strategists are hearing this as well, it may be that contributes to this domino effect.
It could be. It could be. We've had a period of enormous volatility in the country with the rapid churn of chancellors of the exchequer, prime ministers, ministers of all in charge of all different areas like education and health and home secretaries. So we've had this rapid churn. There's huge economic instability, obviously, and in the royal family. For those who are supportive of it, that's another source of instability. So this is difficult for Britain, and I think that it is possible that the party will go for anybody who is seen to be the most likely person to give the party the best possible chance of winning, highly unlikely, or losing as less badly than they might. So that is possible. There are very strong currents there. Labour, what's Labour thinking? Well, Labour will be desperately hoping there'll be other people following Dan Poulter. They're no doubt in conversations with Conservative MPs at the moment, offering them all kinds of things to entice them over to try and get that bandwagon really rolling so that Poulter isn't just a one-off. He's the beginning of a movement. If Labour strategists are saying that to you in private about Penny Mordaunt, that's probably true. If they're saying that in public, that means that they probably think that she's the one who they can best fight against because they can find her weak spots. So, it's wheels within wheels, as you know. No one knows it better, Iain, than you do.